All right, so that is happening. Hopefully people got a message. I used to get like an okay message that you had to be okay with, but now it just seems to tell you and you don't have to click okay. Mississippi is river time.
Ooh.
Well, Colorado is mountain, Mississippi is river. I like syntax of that. Um, okay. So we'll start in a minute. We'll let a few more people show up. Um, we might have people from all over. Um,
Super cool.
yeah. All right. Um, okay. And Chelsea, I'm going to ask you one more thing, and it never works, but we'll try it anyway. And that is, can you raise your Zoom hand? It, I think, yeah, you did. Great. Now here's the thing.
Yes.
It'll automatically lower it and it won't tell you. And
Oh,
And so if it does and it gives you an announcement like, hey, do you want, I'm going to lower your hand, try and stop it. But nobody ever is able to do that. And for some reason, I guess because I am the host, it never lowers mine. But anyway, if you can, whatever, it's all good. All right, I'm going to share my screen and we'll start.
okay.
Hi, everybody. Oh, I'll mention the thing about color. Let me see what I wrote. Okay.
Yes. If you have color supplies, please have them if you're working traditionally or digitally.
Okay. And let me see if I have all right, let's see. Go all the way to the top. Close my, oh, wait, you know what? First, I need to start recording. There we go. Okay. Here we go. Okay, I think everybody can see that, right? Friday Night Comics. Welcome, everybody. It's Friday night for some of you. It's super early Saturday morning for some of you. It's all sorts, it might be Friday afternoon. Anyway, it's the We Believe in Comics Friday Night Workshop. Thank you so much for being here at SAW. SAW is a 501(c)(3) nonprofit. That means I'll tell you what that means later, but you could find our courses and things at learn.sawcomics.org. Um, let's see what the next screen is. I always forget. Oh yeah, we have some upcoming courses. Maureen Burdock is going to be teaching a very intensive 3-month graphic medicine deep dive. You can find that at 3 month at learn.sawcomics.org. And next week in the slot, we have Christine Rye doing sort of, yeah, it's chill, um, slice of life comics. Meanwhile, we have a week-long workshop happening in a couple of weeks in Gainesville. Still time to sign up for that. That's that. We have Nature Comics happening on Zoom, excuse me, in October 13th, I think that starts. I think it's Saturdays. That's at learn.sawcomics.org. Miriam Libicki is going to be doing interview comics. It's a 1 3-hour session, might be 2 hours. Um, that's on November 13th. That's a ways away. Anyway, so we're all set. SAW survives on tuitions and donations. Thank you for being here. Thank you for donating. If you donated tonight or if you donated any other time, it helps pay for the teachers. It helps keep the lights on. It helps make these workshops free for everybody. We really appreciate it. There's lots of ways to support us, and I'll put that in the chat later. You can also become a sustaining member, which is a cool thing. I'll put that in the chat as well. Anyway, we're almost ready. So please no inappropriate speech or imagery. We haven't had to really make that an issue lately. Please keep it PG-13. You can share on social media with the hashtag Friday Night Comics. You can tag us at Comics Workshop. Chelsea is thanks Coco. I'll put it in the chat and you can tag them too. And you can also go to members.sawcomics.org and share stuff there. And we also have been making PDFs on Seesaw Comics. At the end of the event, you can upload what you do and we will put it into a little PDF that you can grab on Seesaw Comics later. Here's one we did in April. Looks like this. It's just like really put together real fast, but it's a real great, cool celebration of these events. Okay, enjoy. Yay! Look at these great
Yay.
toys. All right. Let's see if I can figure out how to stop sharing. Oh, she loves that bird. Okay. Anyway, Chelsea Akpan is here. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you. I'm going to spotlight you, so watch out because you'll get real
Ooh.
all of a sudden, if that's okay. All
Oh
right.
gosh, now I can see myself. Okay.
Okay. Right. Sorry. So, like I
Hello.
said, I'll just be in the chat summarizing and if you need any help, just holler.
Okay. Yeah. Well, hello everybody. Thank you so much for making it down here or online. I'm Chelsea. I'm a cartoonist based out of Texas. Just a little bit of background on myself. I've done comics for most of my life. And it's always something I've returned to. I always have enjoyed illustration and narrative work, and obviously comics is like the perfect medium to do that. So naturally I would continue to return to it even when I felt like I was more of an illustrator or more of like an animator. It was always comics. It was always comics. And I think a key feature of my work would definitely be my color. It's definitely something ever since I was 13 and when I started doing digital comics specifically, I was never scared of utilizing color. And it's often something some people have came up to me and asked about like how do you use color, what colors do you use, et cetera, et cetera. And I find that a lot of people are sometimes scared to use it because they're not sure of those reasons as well as like how to utilize it as in like a narrative sense. So I hope that this workshop will help you kind of think about color, not necessarily what colors to use, but like think about color in a more intuitive way, how to push your story along, how where to use it, and just something that you can add to your comic making toolkit. I also recently graduated from the CCA MFA in comics program, so yes, I am. That's my credentials, I suppose. I'm gonna go ahead and share my iPad here, which I should be able to do. Let's see.
Let me know if you have any problems.
Yes. Hold on. I was able to do it last night, so iPhone. Let's see. Not iPhone. Oh my gosh. Oh, here we go. Okay, I figured it out.
There we go.
Okay, and then we should do. All right, should be connecting. There we go.
Yeah.
There. All right, so let me play this. So what I have for you today is I have like a little slideshow thing to talk about these exact points, the color, how to use color, and then I'm going to set aside time about 30 minutes or so for us to actually make our comics, and at the end we'll go around to everybody and share our work and talk about kind of the choices you made with your color, as well as like your strips in general. So yes, color as storytelling. So I'm just going to go into some very basic story or color theory. And then we'll talk about like color palette. And then finally, we'll talk about different tips and tricks on how to utilize it. Um, Yes, thank you for liking my slides. So first we have hue, value, and saturation. Hue is just the purest version of a color. So when you think of red, it's kind of like the default red you think of. Value, if you think about it in painting terms, it's um, a color, how dark or light a color is. So if you add black to a color, it would obviously make it darker. And if you add white to a color, it would make it lighter. And then saturation is just kind of how the intensity of that color you're working with. So like intense, bright version of that color. And then as it like gets cool or desaturated, it would become more milder and less intense. And then we have the beautiful, I'm sure everyone has seen one of these a beautiful color wheel. On both one side we have cool colors and then the other side we have warm colors, so we all know that purple, blue, and green are considered cool colors, and then red, orange, and yellow are warm colors. A lot of people, there's a lot of like pre-established like ideas about like what specific colors kind of evoke. So when you think about the color blue, you typically think of like sadness or like kind of like um you're it's just like melancholy. But then also you can also think about like it being like a calming color as well. And the same for like colors like red or yellow. Red is typically a color that's used for like love and something that's super impassioned versus again on that flip side it can also mean like super like you're super angry and furious. So when I think about color, I try to think about ways to kind of subvert those expectations of what people already think about the color, or sometimes it might be good to just kind of lean into those pre established norms. And then I'll go start going into some color palette treatments. So first we have monochromatic. Monochromatic simply means that you're just using one color and then you're choosing different saturations or different shades of that one color, and you're that's the whole thing. So in this instance, we would maybe use a red, and I would just use different shades or different like saturations of red to illustrate or color my image. This is used typically I've seen personally as in like flashbacks or things that are like indicating the past. A typical like color palette for like flashbacks and stuff that I've seen is like a sepia tone. Um, where they're using like a lot of browns and maybe sometimes like grays and stuff to indicate something that has happened in the past. But I honestly, I feel like if you can kind of get away with doing this treatment with any color and still kind of evoke that. I think it's also good for like montage sequences and also like things that are like just a lot of things happening in the same time. If you're a very like maximalist artist, I think it's really great to utilize like a monochromatic color palette because if you like to use a lot of details, I think it's a great way to not overwhelm the viewer with all your detail shaded without you having to worry about coloring each one of those little things that you've so painstakingly drawn. Next is analogous. So analogous is basically colors that are right next to each other on the color wheel. So in this case, we have red, orange, and yellow. This is a really easy way if you're trying to start building your own color palettes. This is an easy way to kind of like to build one. These colors will typically work really well together because they're related to each other on the color wheel, and you typically would go about this by using like a dominant color and then choosing like two secondary colors to kind of accompany it. So maybe my dominant color would be red, and then I would use like a yellow and orange as a secondary color to accompany it, but it still feels super harmonious. So you can have like your main character in this like reddish color, and then like details or the background maybe in a yellow or an orange color to kind of set them to the front, and then have the backgrounds like set back. Next, we have triadic. So this one's kind of interesting, and it kind of goes along with a lot of different shapes. Triadic, and also I forget the name of the other one, but you can also make like a rectangle within the color wheel. But basically, you're kind of building a triangle within the color wheel. So in this case, I just have the primaries. That's kind of funny how it's like it's a primary, so it makes a triangle, huh? But yeah, this is a good like high contrast color palette like building block. You would also go about choosing like a dominant color and then utilizing the other two as maybe like secondary colors. But yeah, you would get a whole lot of contrast. It's not as like harmonious as maybe like a monochromatic or analogous color palette, but you would definitely get like that high contrast. You can have like things that are set forward, set back, utilizing something like this. And then lastly, we have complementary colors, which are basically colors that are just right across from each other on the color wheel. So red and green, purple and yellow, and an orange and blue. This is also like a super high contrast, high impact color palette building block, and also just color theory. These colors typically bring the other out and are just like a really simple way of just like if you're not sure of like what colors would go together, just like complementary, boom. And then I feel like I typically my favorite color palette is like some type of green and then some type of pink, which is really just a cousin of like red and green anyway. So kind of like shifting it one of the colors even a little bit can still kind of fall into this similar theory because it's still like creating that contrast that you would want anyways. Are there any questions, by the way? I don't want to make sure I'm not missing anybody in the chat. Yes. Okay.
Seeing any yet. I'm going to post your color wheel into our somewhere so we can find it later.
Yeah, and I can also like just send you this presentation as well, like after the fact, so people can refer to it if they'd like. Okay, so now I'm going to go into how you can use color as an emotional beat in your comics. So I have a little example here. I think color can be used very smartly in a very like narrative way. And you don't even need to use a lot of it. You can use it very efficiently and effectively just by using just like one color, and it can evoke like a very powerful moment. So in this example, I have like a basic like black and white, I love you. And then, that's already like, oh, he has your heartstrings already going, I'm sure. But what if you added Pink to that
Oh,
last panel where it's saying I love you. That single little detail kind of pushes it over the edge a bit, I feel, and brings that emphasis to this important moment that you would want your reader to pay attention to. Um, you can do this in different parts of your story. I've seen many stories that use this spot color or maybe only work in black and white, but utilize a color in a very specific a moment of the story or different moments of the story that are supposed to be you're supposed to pay attention to and are like you're like, oh my God, this is like whoa. And this is like one of the ways they do it. And I love doing this as well. Now we can think about color as a feature of a character or environment. So something I like to do is think about like color and like your characters as like a color. And what I mean by that is I like having colors that are kind of representative of a character that you might have in your story and have that color kind of when that color is repeated in your story or in your narrative, it kind of evokes that character even if they're not necessarily on the panel, if that makes sense. I tend to use a lot of pinks and reds and in my personal story in the comic I'm working on. And I always make the choice to have it be associated with the main character, so that even if she's not on the page, even if she's not like, even necessarily being mentioned, that color is still kind of there and present. And that the reader, after being exposed to it and having that kind of association in their mind, um, kind of are still thinking of that character and it in a sense kind of makes that character iconic and that color iconic and the two kind of working together in tandem. And this also kind of applies to environments as well. You can have an environment or you can have your comic kind of rendered in a specific way and then this environment is like blown out and like give it a completely different color treatment because it might be a new place that they're exploring or this is just like this you're setting the scene for something big to happen and the color is also kind of working in tandem for that narrative beat. This also goes along with what I've been saying before, but you can use color as emphasis. Really, all of this is talking about how to emphasize different parts of your story, different aspects of your comic. So black and white. Oh, I'm utilizing a complementary color palette here. So it's like, nice warm background, but then boop, the blue book. Now you all of a sudden your eye is like to the book. Very simple way to like draw your reader to something that you want them to pay attention to in particular. Um, yeah, that was pretty self-explanatory. I also like using color as progression and time passing. You can utilize this technique with different hues of the same color, showing that there's time passing, there's a change happening. I like doing this when I'm in kind of similar way I'm doing this. I showed this example where it's like a collection of or a sequence of panels and it just slightly changes and something's happening even though not a lot is happening that there is some sort of progression happening and it's a nice little cheat I like to use here. And of course color to set the mood. I've kind of given the same atmosphere or the same drawing three different like color treatments. So the first one is kind of like this blue. It's like obviously it's dark, the moon's there. It's like a typical color treatment for like a night of a cat. And then there's a castle here. And the next treatment is kind of evoking a similar thing, but it's doing it in a maybe in an unexpected way with the purple sky and then having the castle really come at the forefront. And then the last one is like it's nighttime, but it's like pink and red. Like, what's up with that? That could be also like a stylistic choice. What kind of mood are you setting for your reader, for your characters, for your story? These are kind of the different questions that you would ask yourself in regards to like your color choices. But setting a mood, what kind of mood do you want to set? All right. Are there any other questions before we start the
not in the
uh
chat. We've got
yes, let's see. It's mood. Yeah. Yeah, so we are about to start uh, our exercise. I'm gonna ask you guys to draw a comic strip. I'd like to keep it pretty short, so like maybe 3 to 4 panels. No more than 3 or 4 panels because you're gonna be coloring as well. And I want you to give it either a spot color, maybe one of the treatments we talked about before. So maybe something with a color palette that's monochromatic, analogous, or maybe a triadic color palette, or experimenting with a complementary color palette as well. Um, I think today we're going to just be working with like limited color palettes, but if you would like to give maybe a more naturalistic palette a try, by all means, there's no rules real here, honestly, because I'd like you guys to experiment, especially if you haven't been if you're not super keen on using color. But these are kind of the suggestions based on what we talked about. And yeah, I would like you to do a comic. Here's a comic prompt in case you're not sure what you want to do a comic about. It's dream. So whatever you'd like to draw a 3 to 4 panel strip about. Maybe it's about a dream you had. Maybe it's just you can take this prompt however you'd like. Draw it. Utilize some form of palette that utilizes the. Oop, let me tap it again. Boop, boop, boop. The one of these treatments, and then we'll talk about it at the end while we do our show and tell. Let's see.
Well, would you recommend doing it in just line work first and doing the color afterwards and deciding after we like, so spend the first few minutes making our comic and then giving some thought to the color?
Yeah, I will typically, yeah, I would probably just give it do some line work, kind of think about what you want to do your comic about in general. And also when you're thinking about your comic, and maybe kind of the little story you're creating, what are the things that you want to emphasize in the work? What do you want to kind of have the reader kind of be drawn to? Maybe if you have a little extra time, you could actually maybe do a panel twice and see like if you give it the same panel a different treatment, what difference that makes. That's also something you could do. um yeah, I'm just curious about, and then when we talk about it, I want you guys to talk about like what your thinking was for your color choices as well as like where you place the colors as well.
Cool. I loved what
Yeah.
you did. Bot color and that I love you panel and the box on the ground. That blue box on the orange got me excited. But
Yes.
all I have is blue and purple, so I gotta go find a couple more. Let's
All right. And then the comic prompt is dream, but really you could do whatever you'd like. And this is just
Are
for
you
the.
gonna are you gonna draw too?
Mhm.
Oh, can we see?
Yes, yes.
Oh,
I have my let's see. I have my iPad here. I will also do a little comic as well. And yes, the exercise is 30 minutes or so. Yeah, we can do like 30 minutes for the exercise. Yes. And then can we see examples again? Sure. Let's see. Oop. And then, so are you talking about this? Yes. Okay. And Tom, if
I'll
you
take a
want to
screenshot of
take a
that too.
screenshot, yeah,
Yeah.
that way people can refer to it.
Yep, and I'll put that in the up on the that same spot. Let's see.
All right. Are we ready? I can go ahead. And then I was gonna actually just mute my mic and like kind of play some music if that's okay. So that way it's
Hey, we
not.
love that.
Yes. All right. So let me. Ooh, how do I do that? All right. All right. Let's
Chelsea, we have a request to show the to show the hue saturation slide again one more time.
Oh, okay, sure, sure, sure.
I'll grab a
Yes,
screen of that too.
let me know. Let's see. There we go.
All right.
And then do you want me to, I can go through like all the slides so that people have access to like my actual so I can do, what is this? Yeah, so if you want like a screen cap of this, oh, after,
After the glow. Okay, I got that.
and then this one,
All right.
and then this one,
That's nice.
and that one, and that one. Color wheels, okay. Oh, you got the did you get all of like the different kind of palettes as
Get all
well?
four. I think I took one just of the wheel in general.
Okay, I think it might be good for them to like have like these as well. So, yep, this
Or-
one.
Okay. I'll make a folder of these.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, I'll do that. Y'all give me a second to get those ready.
Okay, so did you get this one?
I think so. Yeah,
And then that one,
now I got it. Yep.
and that one, that should be the last one.
Okay, cool. All
Cool.
right, good.
And then yeah, so yes, and that will all be provided to everybody. That way they have access to it. So let me turn that down a little bit. Okay. All right. Happy drawing, everybody.
Oh, dream comic. I can't wait to see you draw. This is gonna be exciting.
Uh, yeah, I need to think of something first.
Okay, I got them all. Oh, we don't hear any music. Are you playing music?
I am. It should be playing from my. Hold on.
No.
Let me see.
Sometimes you gotta go to audio settings, and sometimes it's.
Yeah, let's see. If not, that's okay. It's just
I could put some.
I. It'd
You
be
can tell
nice
me what
to.
to play,
Um.
but I would just
I,
put it on my phone and like stick it to the
oh
next
yeah,
to the computer.
I was thinking of doing that. I might just do that actually, because let's see. Okay, here. Share sound. And then oop.
Is my three longest colored pencils,
Yes.
which
So hopefully you had that was enough time to get down a comic and give it a nice color treatment. Um, and I'll go ahead and start with mine since I'm already screen sharing, but this is like a little alien character I have and I did a comic about, so it's just like they're just in this little area and they're like, I don't, and you can kind of see the little thing they have on their head there. And they're like, I don't feel so, and then kind of bursting forward. Um, Color choice wise, I just wanted something that kind of uber like just a straight like contrast, something very simple. I typically work in like limited color palettes anyway, so this is just I'm like, oh, blue and yellow. They are not complementary, but they contrast each other quite a bit. And then the yellow and the reddish color I chose is just kind of like that at the very end, which I feel like it's very impactful. Um, and then, but you also still get that red from the very first panel. It's just kind of starts out as a hint, and then they kind of you get closer to the character, it gets a little bit bigger, and then finally you kind of get that bit of a payoff at the end. So super simple. Yeah, that's kind of what I came up with.
Very cool. Yeah, it's beautiful. Can you zoom in really fast on panel one just so we get a hint of that red a little bit
Yeah,
more? Oh yeah, look at that. Just hiding there on that
just a
tiny.
little bit.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Thanks. So yeah, let's take a look at what some other people did. I'm putting mine just so everybody knows there's a if you upload it, we'll put it into a PDF or you can share it on Instagram and other places. And that's a great place to share it as well. But if you want to share right now, we've got a little bit of time, so you can raise your Zoom hand. Chelsea, so I'll start. I'll run down. I'll uh,
Should I stop sharing that way? I
yeah, go
can.
ahead, and then
Yes, let me
we'll
go ahead
start
and
to
do that.
spotlight people. So we'll go to Kate, Alun, Meredith, Elias. Let's see, and we'll go to Kate.
Uh, Hang on a second. We've
Right,
got
thank
the audio. Gonna turn the light on. I've never worked like this. It was fun. So it ended up being a kind of this weird romance comic illustrating the principles. Um, like so.
Oh wow. Are we analogous? Oh, that is so cool. That's really smart. I love that.
It's funny. It like just happened while you were talking.
Hmm.
Thanks. That was so fun.
Thanks
Oh
so
no,
much.
of course. Oh, I love what you came up with. That was awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, and definitely share these. We'll go to Alun. Alun,
Okay.
I'm gonna assume you want to share your screen.
Yeah, I did it online again. So
There you go.
yeah, it took me a little while to think of, I don't know, come out with the idea to do with dreams, but here's what I came up with. Kind of weird, but it will. So oops. Um yeah, so we have this guy who I did it. I'm lucid dreaming. I can do anything. I can fly. I kind of used the red as like his color and the blue as the dream color, but then wait, no, I don't want to be eaten by a giant monster in my dream. Abort, focus, control the dream. I did it. I'm lucid dreaming. I can make delicious snacks appear. So it was
Oh, that's I love that you used red as the main character's kind of like icon color. And then like kind of you're kind of giving each of these elements of the comic a different indicating color and it really sets them apart from each other. So that's excellent.
thanks. Yeah, I kind of used
Cool.
like red is his color, green is the monster, and then blue is the dream. So
Hmm. And it's
yeah.
great because red and green are, complementary, so they contrast so naturally. That's awesome.
Awesome. Thanks, Alun. Okay, Meredith next. Here we go.
Um, I started drawing before you said about dream, and so I just had this little idea about a seed. It looks more like a potato, but dream like so I just did this with just the sprout coming out. I don't think you can actually see the green, but just the sprout is green and then the little things there. And then you said the dream, so then I did another version This time I had a reference bean, so it looks a little bit more. So this time this one's dreaming of its little taproot, and then the one with the taproot as a little seedling, and then the seedling dreams big.
Oh, I love that. Oh,
But
that's so sweet.
yeah, I wasn't so happy. Actually like the color in the first one better because it just kind of pops, but I tried to use a neighboring color in the background of the dream. So
No, I think both work equally. Both like the first one you have like that just spot of color, so obviously your eye is drawn to it.
yeah.
I like the way you treated the second comic with like that secondary color just kind of adding to that dream atmosphere and also sets that apart from just like the seedling kind of laying there. So very nice.
Thanks. It was so cool to do. Thank you so much.
Awesome, Meredith. Thank you. Okay, we'll go to Elias next. Here we go.
Thanks for your mini lecture on color theory. That was very helpful.
Thank you.
Here's my 3-panel comic.
Ah, yes.
Oh,
Yes, simple and to the point. Very nice.
Thanks.
thanks, Elias. Okay, we'll go to Lynn when Lynn's ready, then Jackie, then Eli. then
Yeah,
Nick.
hi. So I am not. Let's see. It's on the iPad, so it's a little hard to.
You
Oh,
want to figure?
gotta turn my camera on. Duh. Sorry about that. Here we go. The colors are not this great this way, but I
Oh,
decided
wow.
it's from a comic that I'm working on, and I'm eventually gonna have to color it. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to try. So I thought I'm thinking maybe if I did the backgrounds in monochrome, depending on what the background is, and the figures, well, that's tricky. So I thought in this scene, maybe each one could be different anachronous colors that are contrasted with the background. But I'm not sure I can do that for all of them. But yeah, the colors are much more saturated, and this is not looking so great here, but those are the basic.
No, I really like you taking the idea of how I love that green background and having all these details, kind of playing with that green, and you're still showing depth, like you're using like a slightly darker desaturated green to showcase like the background, like going through the doorway, which is really smart. And then both characters really pop against it. I would just say maybe play around with if you're worried about like things kind of maybe feeling flat or something.
Yeah.
Just playing around with like not hue, like the lightness and darkness of these colors. So having like
Yeah.
making sure that green is like a bit more desaturated, that way it goes into the background even more. But even now, like it looks really strong.
Great. So I'm on the right track. That's good to know.
Yes, absolutely.
It's great. Thank you.
Thanks, Lynn. Okay, we'll go to Jackie.
See if I can make this happen. First panel. I wish I could find my Sandman. Maybe I would be better off staying awake, but I use the opposite colors, the complementary purple and yellow.
Yes. It's that gradation, yes. And it
Day
shows
to
that
night.
progression.
Oh,
And I love the characters and like kind of the inside of the room still being white because it also adds to that contrast. It's really smartly done.
Thank you.
Very nice.
thanks, Jackie. Awesome. Okay, we'll go to Eli, and then Noor, and Michael, and Sarah.
Mine's a little text heavy. It's a little heavy. It's a little sad. I'm not gonna. Let's see. My sister died in September. I felt relief. She was really sick and she's not suffering now. So there's just some. I reversed my camera so I could read while I do this, but now I can't operate my sketchbook. At my parents' house, I just felt busy and worried for my mom, who had cared for her for 30 years. I gave the eulogy at her memorial. People laughed and cried. I did not cry. My brother did. The hurricane reached all the way to Indianapolis. It was pouring rain at the cemetery. There we are. We put her ashes in the ground and ran back to the car. My parents lost power and their roof was damaged in Indianapolis in the middle of the country. Now I'm back at home. I live in San Francisco. I still haven't cried, but I feel kind of lopsided and like something is missing. I keep waiting. When does the grief hit? This is me, this tiny little dot, and I have a feeling that this is coming soon. So I just wanted to keep one color with the waters kind of rising. And I've been thinking about those floods and all the damage and the flood of emotion that is probably about to wipe me out for the next few months, but it just hasn't hit yet.
Wow.
Wow.
Very lovely. I love that you utilized one color and then you use that one color as you kind of gave character to the color, utilizing it in these kind of different in each panel. It's kind of drawn in a different way and playing with scale and shape. It really works. I love that
Yeah,
last
if I
panel.
had a really long piece of paper, I think it would have worked better as one long strip instead of a grid of four, but
Mhm.
I don't know how to do that. But
I
thank
think
you.
it's
This
still
was a
strong.
really great class.
Yeah, I think it's still strong as it is too. And again, that last panel is just very striking. So
Look out.
yes.
Look out, little dot. Thank you.
Thanks, Eli.
And thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's helping me. Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. And we see the Chapeau Rowan hat too.
Yeah,
All right.
rock and roll.
Here we go.
I did mine on my iPad, so we'll see if it'll show. Oh God, it's not showing. Okay. Let's see if I can yeah. Okay, there we go.
Do it.
It's called White Collar Dreams. I don't know if you can really see it that well. But basically it's just like a guy who's like working and it's like, oh, he has girls, he has money, he has like a vacation, but really he's just like at his job. And it's hard to really see it from here, to be honest. I'm trying to like get a good angle. For my webcam's like kind of bad.
I think the cool part about this is that even though it's kind of like coming in and out of focus, the colors are really striking enough. So you still see that like that two parts of it where it's like the dream part of it and then them at their office, which I think immediately it kind of like it passes the squint test. Like if it's super readable, even if you squint at it. So that's already it's quite nice. And I love you kind of subverting the use of those colors like for dreams it's like usually like kind of light colors pastels but you kind of use like these bright orange and red colors which I quite like, so very nice.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Noor. We're going to Michael Wu now. Let's see. Hi, Michael.
Okay, this is a very quick and simple idea. Two Canada geese walk into a bar, and the Canada goose on the left says, "Ever wish people could see beyond black and white?" Then in the second panel, the other goose is thinking about it. And in the bottom, the other goose is carrying a brush, is swinging a brush that's dripping yellow paint. And if I had more time, I would have created another panel to show you what the goose did with it. But you can see a little jar of yellow paint. So that's it.
Very nice, I love that.
What was the goose going to do?
Yeah.
Well, the intention was for the goose to swing the brush along and hit the other goose with yellow paint. If I had another panel, but you said no more than three panels, so I stuck to it. And if I had more time, I would have given more thought to how would a goose actually carry a brush, probably with its foot, not with its wing. But I didn't think of it.
Yeah, that yellow it makes an impact in that last panel, so it really works.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll go to Sarah next.
Hey, mine's just simple, but I tried to do sort of entering the dream and kind of tying together myself with the rabbit. So just to have something to, maybe it's like a version of yourself or something.
Oh, that's so sweet. I love that middle panel with like the noses touching. Ah, so sweet. And I love just the little subtle touch of color for the hair and then like the inside of the the bunny's ears.
I was
Very
worried if I added like other contrasting colors behind it would
right.
be too complicated.
Yeah, and sometimes like that's kind of like one of the decisions you have to make. It's like maybe you want it to be kind of subtle and just like a hint of it. That's also like a choice that could work really well, and you're working efficiently too, because it's just you don't have to do too much. I think it worked really well there.
So much, Sarah. If BB is ready, we'll go to BB next.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see.
Okay, hello. Let me flip my camera. How do I do that? Oh, there we go. Okay. So I kind of just did a really quick little story based on real life. Let me see if I can get it to focus. So this is me and the little guy is my son. It says, "Full, you good? Ooh." And then that's the broken camera. So this is based on real life. He did break my camera. I will try to fix it, but you know. So in this case, I wanted to kind of represent two different I guess okay, well, for me, red is supposed to represent trying to control my anger and my patience and emotional regulation, essentially, because he's a baby, you know. And yellow and orange is supposed to represent curiosity and youth and, you know, innocence, essentially. And so it's just kind of two ends of the spectrum of trying to, you know, he's trying to learn everything around the world and he doesn't understand, you know, he's not doing anything out of malice. And then there is me just trying to get used to this new little person who is constantly throwing and biting and scratching and breaking things. And so that's just kind of us, you know, he doesn't even realize it, but I guess a way of us like butting heads on, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, so that's the story of him breaking my camera.
Why did he do that?
I don't know. It was the Olympus too. I need a
Oh no.
no,
Okay.
I'm serious. Like I might take it to see if they can fix it, but yeah, no. So
I
that's
I
him
like the
unaware.
spots. I like the spots of color. I like that in that third panel where you drew the film canister. You kind of have like a little mixture there, and also in like the little sparks too. You have the yellow and then a bit of orange as well. So I think it would have been cool to like maybe in that panel like really emphasize like this breaking is like the yellow and the red kind of weirdly coming together. So
Mhm.
I love kind of your reasoning behind your color choices and how it kind of played out. It's so cute.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, BB. We'll go to
Mhm.
Dalen next. Oops. Oh no, I just muted her. Sorry about that. Yeah, can unmute. There we go.
Hello. Wait, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I did this like little character who's
Ooh.
like depressed all the time until they see their cat at night.
Oh.
So like if I hadn't like just gone right in with the colored pencils, I would have done this like I can't see where I'm pointing. A little uh lighter here in terms of value and then darker as it goes to the evening and then happiness. And I chose this because it's like a nice warm sort of palette. Like it really brings out the warmth and like she's just getting frustrated through the day and she's just so done. And at the end of the day, it's like, oh, but I love my cat and everything feels good. And then it's nighttime. So blue.
Yes. I love how saturated your palette is, and I love the your use of like colored line work as well, because I think that's also something you can incorporate, like having like your character being a lighter blue and then the liner just being a darker blue of that. It really complements it really well. You're still showing progression, and then like that last panel is a nice contrast between the other two, and it's just so sweet.
Thank you.
Yes,
Awesome.
thank you for sharing.
Thanks so much. We'll go to Chris next, then Nancy.
Thanks. I never reach for color, so just reaching for it is a big step for me.
Ooh.
It starts out with why are we working so hard? And this guy says, we're saving to buy robots for the future.
Mhm.
Everything's going to be so much easier. I'm buying one to work out for me at the gym and one to watch sunsets on the beach.
That's funny.
And the only idea for color that I had was just the orange and the yellow
Mhm.
kind of complementing each other, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I like you kind of keeping the robots and like most of the characters still black and white because that simple decision still like creates that contrast and the idea of just like this stoic kind of robot at like a nice natural like beach setting is really funny. So I think it works.
Great. Thanks very much.
Yes.
Thanks. I'm going to Nancy next. Here we go.
So mine, I guess, is just warm and cool colors. And I guess it's hurricane inspired too. There's no words, but first we're all stocked up on toilet paper and everything's happy. Then it starts to rain and we're running low. And then we're out of toilet paper and it's terrible. So we make the decision to jump in the car and head out in the pouring rain. And at the store, there's plenty of toilet paper, but by the time we get there,
Oh no.
Oh.
That face at the end is so expressive.
and I guess what makes me think of it is that I just got back from Kroger's and we didn't get the hurricane really where I live in Georgia, but there's no toilet paper.
Oh no. I'm so sorry. I love you using the first and last panels as like the kind of the anchoring and then the middle panels being like that cool color palette. And then you also utilizing just like an environment and the color as like a character. So that was really well done. And yeah, that last expression is just so like yeah. Very nice.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nancy. We'll go to Viviana next, and then Benjamin, and then Eddie, and Christina. Let's see if Viviana's ready.
Hello, I'm gonna share my screen.
Okay.
Yes, because I'm on my iPad. All right, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so I had this dream when I was like 7 years old, and I had this dream where there was a bunch of giant frogs coming down my street, and then my dad was riding one of the frogs, and somehow this dream has been the most memorable dream I've ever had in my life. Yeah, it was just so bizarre. I was like, why is my dad on a giant frog?
Daddy.
And
Yeah,
I went very simple because it took me a long time to draw the frogs. So
No,
I was
that's
just
fair.
like, I'll just go complimentary and just go boom, dad, red.
Yes. And I like the hints of red on like that third panel to and like to be like, oh, who's that? And, like it's like someone important and aside from him being on a giant frog. Um, but very nice. I this is so cute and funny. And I like you also using like colored line art color as well. It's very nice. It works really well.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that.
Yes.
Thanks, Viviana. All right,
Yes, thank you for the workshop.
Sure. We'll go to Benjamin next. Let's see.
Let me get the.
I gotta stop Viviana's sharing.
There we go.
Awesome.
All right. So hi, thank you again. So I did one where I kind of flubbed the color, but let's see. I just kind of this is the first one. We're just kind of dreaming of sleeping, and then kind of entering the dream and just kind of being happy. This one was just
Yes.
like that where I got the color right for the last panel because it kind of entering the dream. But I just wanted to like, I don't know, retry it. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
I like the way you drew yourself like entering the dream, like having that little thought bubble in the first panel and then kind of you that like becomes like most of the panel in the second. That's really nice. And I like that blue and yellow, I think really are strong and work well together against that sliver of red. It's nice.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Appreciate it. First time using real colors, so just
Well, I'm glad that helped. Like I hope this workshop helped. Yes.
thank you. Yeah, it's mostly just like black and white stuff. So
yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Benjamin. We'll go to Eddie next if Eddie's ready, and then we'll go to Christina and then Jen. Edgar. Let's see. Not sure if Eddie's ready. Okay, we'll go to Christina. There we go. Oh, we can't hear you, even though you're unmuted, Christina. Try it again. Oh, now you're muted. Let's see if I can ask you to unmute. Hold on. Try it again.
Did that work?
Yes.
Okay. I forgot what you said about sharing. I did it digitally. If that's okay.
You can
How
share.
do I do that?
You can.
Am I allowed to share my screen, or do I like? Hello?
Yeah, you can. Go ahead.
Oh, I can. Okay.
Oh, Christina. Hi, Christina.
Yeah, hi, Chelsea. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you again. We went to school together.
That we did. Okay. Sure. Okay. Is it showing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, it's just a girl trying to find her cat. I really like using color to express emotions and transition, like the moments in time. I did try to put everything together that we learned or like that you were talking about, but like it was too big for my brain. Not right now, I guess. But yeah, this is what I did for the little workshop.
Oh, it's so sweet and cute. And yeah, like sometimes going simple is kind of the best option, honestly, because I feel like the drawings here and like the last panel and the expression of like finally being reunited to your kitty, it's like that says a lot. And then the color just kind of is just like adds onto it a bit.
I
Very
definitely wanted to be I definitely wanted to make it uh like show vibrancy and subtlety, if that makes
yes.
sense.
Yes,
Like that
absolutely.
was kind of my goal.
Yeah. And even that like subtle difference between the first two panels where it's like a little bit desaturated and it kind of lightens up in the second one, that also like works really well. So
Okay.
yes, very nice. So cute.
Thank you, Christina.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Right. Okay, we'll go to
Wait, stop. There we go.
Great job. Thanks. Okay.
Hi there, this was so awesome. Thank you, Chelsea. So I tried to do the one color thing.
Oh yes.
I think I'll probably go back and darken, like I picked such a dark color. But yeah, so here I am sleeping in bed. And then oh no, it's that dream again where there's too many roommates in the dorm room. And I showed that like this is my bed by coloring myself purple, and then I gave kind of the preview of the litter box and the cat underneath the dorm bed. And then I'm sorry, the sun is like right in the wrong place. So I'm trying to keep my illegal roommates from being discovered by the RA. I have this dream all the time, by the way. But the litter box always gives them away every time. So I think I'll go back and add like maybe a contrasting color, but I really liked the idea of having one character have one color that represents them. So I want to play around with that a little more and see. Yeah.
It would be cool to if you went back and did the contrasting color to like in that second and I guess in that second panel having like the litter boxes, that way we kind of draw our eyes to it, like that color. Yeah.
Maybe it's like orange or something.
Yeah, something orange, and you're like, what is
and then
that?
it's also here too.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
that's a good idea. I like that.
No, but
Ooh,
this is really funny.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Jen. We'll go to Edgar next, then Victor, Jim. We're winding down.
Okay, well, thank you, Tom, as always, for bringing me up, and thank you, Chelsea, for the inspiration. I chose a interesting subject. I call it "Absinthe Makes the Heart Grow Sadder," and it begins back in the 1880s. I guess the French liquor absinthe made glamorous by such artists as Toulouse-Lautrec, contained wormwood, an hallucinogenic substance. And there's Toulouse saying, "What are you drinking there, madame?" And the barfly lady replies, "Zut alors, it is absinthe." And we have a glass there. And 60 years later, a mom told a son about drinking a glass of absinthe and falling asleep on the coats laying on the bed at the party. And there we see many mink stoles beneath the lady. The young man became obsessed with absinthe, and when it became legal again without wormwood, bought a bottle. Anecdotal evidence showed it can still make you psychotic. And there's the psychotic man who's drunk too much absinthe. The moral, be careful. The young man did recover.
I love your color work here. I love your mark making as well. Building on top of colors and kind of creating a specific effect, especially in that last panel, is really, really really effective. And then using that like limey green as a recurring color for the absinthe is really strong as well. But yeah, I love that you just went all in with it, and it works.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate the feedback. It was a great opportunity to use color. So thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Edgar. And as a reminder to everybody, please share on social media. I put the link up there. We'll go to Victor next and then Jim. Thanks, Edgar. Well, I don't know if Victor's ready. We'll go to Jim next. Oh, Victor's ready. Here we go.
Sorry. I don't know. I don't use Zoom that well. I don't know how to work the background. Okay. So I intended a certain color choice, but it didn't really come out the way I expected. So I kind of hope I get the point across. Is it visible?
Yes.
Okay. So up top right here, we got a guy saying, I got promoted. I got a trophy. I got a good dream. So the idea here is that I wanted to use these kind of nicer, it's hard to see on my camera, but this is supposed to be a yellow progression down to darker colors until he notices this very obvious red car, looks out into this violet sky. I want to sort of not sad, but kind of like a little bit more of a downer feeling from his dream, which was very bright and optimistic multiple times until he realizes something that's maybe a little bit too unattainable, and then he's woken back up to reality.
Oh, I love you using the way you made the dream panels, like the composition, I guess. I love the composition of this, and then your reasoning behind like your color uses, like having a more pastel-y light feeling for the dream sequence, but then something that feels way too real for the sequence is like the thing that like contrasts the setting, and then we're brought back to reality. I think that's really smart.
Yeah.
I enjoy like you using the purple in the last panel as like, oh, okay, maybe not quite.
Awesome, Victor. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Chelsea, a few more? You got time for a couple more?
Yeah.
All right, we got Jim next.
I was going to share my screen and it says host disabled participant screen sharing. So
Okay, there you go, Jim. Now you're set.
Okay, good. So let's just see. Are you guys seeing this then?
No.
No. Okay.
Easy.
All right. Let me go back here then and try again. Sorry. I really feel like I was sharing there, but sorry about that.
All right.
All right, one more time. Just got to find it. Here we go.
Yep.
All right, that should be it now. So now?
Well, yep.
Yes.
Finally. All right. Anyway, so this is using a yellow and a blue. And I decided I wanted to just basically add a gray in there because rather than adding additional tints, I felt like I needed some third thing. So, various night frights that I have consistently going down a hill on a bed on wheels, end of the world, aliens showing up, and always the rapidly pumping heart there. I did also sort of a mono
Ooh.
version of it as well. I picked 3 pinks, although I don't know if I differentiated them enough, but that's a very different looking effect.
Yes.
And it's easy to play around just dropping in colors like that.
I love that you experimented and you went ahead and tried like 2 different versions of it. It's really interesting. And I love that you colored the what are they what do you call them? The spaces between the panels. Oh my gosh.
Gutters.
The gutter, yes, thank you. I love that you colored the gutters because I think a lot of people tend to forget like you can do that. You can totally do that, and that adds to the comic as a whole and can elicit a specific effect. Yeah, very, very interesting.
Great. Thank you.
Awesome, Jim. Thanks. We'll go to Myra Alejandra next if they're ready, and then Rebecca, and then D Wang. Let's see.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen for a little bit.
Yep.
I remember. Okay.
Well, go ahead. Oops.
Okay. Okay, can you guys see that?
Yes. Oh.
Are you seeing this drawing?
Yes, yes.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so it's basically just about these girlfriends, and she's looking at her old like little middle school ID, and she's like, wait a minute, like, weren't you the kid that was obsessed with me in middle school? And she gets the flood of flashbacks and she denies it. The criminal. And I was just playing with what you said about making flashbacks like monochrome. So that's what I wanted to play with.
I love that the last 2 panels, like I love your use of the monochromatic palette and having it like that purple kind of flashing like and their expression really sells that too. And then like that subtle gradient as well, with the dropped background kind of hits a bit more and it gives it that impact as that final little thing. Really cute. I really enjoy your color palette here. I think it really works. And then the contrast between the 2 characters, like Pink being one, and then the other one's mostly like in black hair and black tank top. It really works. So
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
And thank you for the workshop, by the way.
of course, thank you for coming.
All right, we'll go to Rebecca next. Here we go.
Thanks for this, Chelsea. So mine says, all my life, my memories have been clearly divided between things that happened when I was awake and things that I dreamt. But one morning at the gym, during my first set of incline bench presses, something snapped and the 2 parts of my memory bank merged together. That day, I could access my dream memories as if they were waking life memories. It lasted for 3 hours until I went to a cafe to meet my Spanish tutor. When I started speaking Spanish, my brain went back to normal. I've been waiting a year for it to happen again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. I love the 2 halves of the brain indicated in 2 different colors and then like putting them together and that text. Very nice.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks. All right, we'll try and get our last few in. We'll go to D Wang next, and then Vale, and then Michael. Hi.
Hey guys. So I also did it on the iPad too. This is just a comic that I'm working on called Pester House. Nope. Okay, so she's backwards, and that's okay. We're gonna go
forwards for us.
Okay. Yeah, so I too truly don't use a lot of color. If I use color at all, it's just like a single color. But here we have my character, Little Puppy, looking at some cans that are on the street, and then there's like a close up of the cans, and then little puppy has someone in their life who's like, watch out for botulism. And then at the bottom, you see these three cans, and it's sort of little puppy is doing a little bit of a analysis of like, the cans don't have any bumps in it. They're cool to the touch. The expiration date isn't like too far gone. And then suddenly, little puppy hears their name being called like from off screen.
Yes.
I had originally sort of wanted like the botulism to have like attention called to it. Um, uh, but I think the botulism isn't a main part of the story. So like I don't think it has to be emphasized as much. But
No, I prefer what you went with
yeah.
because it's more so like the punchline to a gag. So it's like it deserves a little bit of
Yeah.
to it for like a second. That's why I like you using like that lighter blue color. But then like little puppy, like you gotta go. It's like that, that higher saturated blue. It's really nice. I love it's very striking, the color palette, because it's that nice yellow against that kind of like cobalty blue, which is also always like a nice little color combo. So very cute comic.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Thanks. Okay, we'll get three more and then we'll go. Vale, if you're ready, you can come on. We'll go to Michael first and then we'll come to Vale. Here's Michael.
Oh, I get it.
What do you mean you get it?
No, I don't know what camera it's using, but I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm seeing myself in profile. It's a mystery. I went with this comic. I just didn't have, I wanted to do, but didn't have time to do. And I'm sure I failed because color's like math to me. Anyway, I was searching for an old friend on Facebook when I noticed that this guy, Alvin, unfriended me. What did I do to deserve this outrage? I mean, Alvin is an overbearing, pompous jerk and a friend of a friend I'm no longer friends with. So I never really liked the guy, to be honest. But what's his beef with me, man? Why am I so upset? Someone I don't like doesn't like me. I guess sooner or later people realize I'm too much and leave me. My whole day was ruined until I remembered, oh yeah, I unfriended him months ago because he was such a jerk. So I tried, but this just color hits my low functioning area, and I just was like taking blind stabs.
I mean, even I still think you did quite well with this because I really like the way you colored your beard and like kind of specific features of yourself, especially in your face with the color. I think it works really well as like you using it as like a detail, just something to indicate detail or extra detail, and then like you kind of switching your palette as like this blue to like you're close to the red and yellow in the third panel. I think it also works to kind of like have a bit of a change of tone there. Um, I think if color is math, I would definitely just think about maybe just introducing just one spot color and then starting from there. Because I think you were really like this blue is really working for me, and where you place it makes sense and kind of adds on.
Yeah, but I do that all the time.
Oh
That's why
yeah.
it looks good. But then I was trying to maybe amplify the emotion of what was going on, and there I just failed. I'll figure it out one day.
Yeah, it does take a bunch of like experimentation, and then like one way to think about it is maybe like I like what you did in the last panel where it's like you're like, oh haha, and it's like just kind of like the character set back to white and it's like this color. That was really successful for me. So this takes some experimentation, but still though, it works.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Michael.
Thanks, Chelsea.
Marlene, are you ready? We'll go. Oops. Oh, I added spotlight. There we go. Oh, hold on. There's Marlene. Well, should be.
I'm unmuted. Yes.
Yeah, but I can't spotlight you. There we go. There we go.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for letting me in. I know it's a really tight schedule today, but nevertheless, greetings from sunny Australia. Not so sunny today, but anyway, I'll be quick. I've drawn 3 very simplistic panels, and here they are. The first one is mainly to show someone sleeping in an ice block. And this is a really starry moonlit night.
I don't think we're seeing it, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, oh,
Isn't
yeah.
Marlene? Oh, this happens sometimes with Marlene's connection. What a bummer.
Oh no.
We'll see if Marlene can come back. We'll finish with Susanna really fast, and then if Marlene comes back, we can try her. That sometimes happens. Hi, Susanna.
Oh wow. Oh, I think you're muted.
Yeah, can you unmute Susanna?
Did that work?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't have any text. Obviously, this is something I could try to work with later, but I was um I there's I'm in Colorado, and the aspen trees, when they hit peak color, they're like shimmery gold. So you're really seeing this like moving thing. It's very magical just to see the gold shimmering. And there you try to find peak leaf gold, and then there are other parts of the sky that are bluish, and the branches are bare and white, and you just see the branches, um and then the shimmery gold, and you kind of try to find those patches so that you can be immersed in them, which is very dreamlike. And every time you see the shimmery stuff, that reminds you of earlier times. And my mom was here, and so we were talking about times that we've been to Colorado before, and shimmery gold. So yeah, that's it. Not quite the exercise, but
No, you completely, I mean, this is exercise. You're utilizing color. Really, it's along with your lovely mark making and your brush strokes. It tells like a story. Like you're looking at this like scene. It's almost like a full page spread, and you're kind of following along with the colors and like the subtle changes. So I think it works completely. It's really lovely.
thank you. I just kept trying to get something, and it was just so hard to get. But that's kind of like what it is with trying to capture the peak gold. And I love that aspen trees are all connected under the earth. They're actually all one tree.
Yeah, it's very vibrant, and yes, just
Nice.
yes.
Thank you.
Right. Marlene is returned. Let's try Marlene.
There we go.
Yes, sorry about that. I got cut off, but sorry. So the next one is the canoe, where this dream girl is dreaming she's going to sail into the ocean, and I've used red to show the character all the way through my very simple story. And you can see the contrasting colors to show the horizon, the sky, and the character. And then finally, she reaches her destination of a peaceful island. I used your technique to show the color of the mountains being in the forefront, in the middle, and to the back. Thank you
Yes.
very much for allowing me to share. And
No,
I
thank
really
you.
loved your presentation today, Chelsea. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, and thank you for sharing. I enjoyed the attention to detail, especially on that island, because it really draws the reader's eye to it. So very lovely.
Thank you. Thank you, Tom.
Oh, sure, Marlene. Nice to have you back. Okay.
Yeah, it's just the internet sometimes is weird.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Awesome. Chelsea, thank you so much. What are your favorite like uses of color out there in either the comics world or the art world? What inspires you?
Ju just about I mean, I feel like every way someone can utilize it inspires me to you think about it differently, whether it be like their color choices, like what colors to use. I've seen some very like unusual color combinations, but it just works because of the context that it's kind of existing in. And like I said, I usually go for a limited palette, but I really appreciate when somebody can go full palette, like all the colors on all the colors in the rainbow, and it doesn't feel like super overwhelming and just like jumbled. So that's typically kind of like what I like to look at. But I also like when people just use one color and they're able to bring about so much vibrancy from just utilizing one color. So a little bit of everything, I think.
I'm muted. What can we buy of yours? Tell us real quick.
Okay, well, my Instagram's in the chat, but I have a shop. My main thing is Loveful. It's a self-published work comic, romantic satirical comedy. Issue 1 is out, so if you're interested in my work and want to see the thing I am working on the most, I would suggest that. And yeah, and you can find that on my shop, in my bio, on my Instagram, or my website.
All right, I just put it in there as well.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks so much. I'm going to ask everybody to unmute and give Chelsea a round of applause. Thanks so much for coming. This was so fabulous.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Chelsea.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Very fun.
you.
Thank you, Chelsea.
Entertaining and
Thanks
informative.
so much. Thank you.
Everybody have a good weekend. Have a good everything.
Have a good, yeah.
Bye, everybody. Thank you again.
Thank
you,
Chelsea.
Bye.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Let's
Yes,
see
thank you,
ya.
Jenny.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.